Years ago, when I was in seminary, some of my training was that I was to visit people in their homes who were sick or who were lonely. So every Wednesday, I would visit different people. There's one woman in particular that I would visit, and she was very alone. And when I noticed when I would go see her is that she would tend to talk about herself. She never really asked how others were doing. Nothing about someone else's family or anybody else, just her own story, and that's all she would stick to. I would go visit her, and she knew that I had other people to see that day. She wouldn't even ask how those other people that I visited were doing. It was just interesting that she would never ask about them. She only cared about herself. As a result, I did not look forward to go seeing her, or go visiting with her. In reality, it was almost as if she was creating her own hell, cutting herself off from other people, not inviting people over. She only wanted to focus on herself. And this is exactly what greed does. And Jesus warns us about that in today's gospel. He speaks of a man who was outraged because he didn't inherit anything. And Jesus warned him to be careful of that. And I can understand that because I've noticed over the years many people who didn't get an inheritance from a will or get what they thought they deserved. So they burned their bridges, they cut off people, and they ended up alone. In essence, making their own hell. Also, if a person tends to be greedy or stingy, they're only thinking of themselves and what they can take and get for themselves. They're not thinking about what they can give or do for other people. And that creates our hell of loneliness and solitude. And today, Jesus warns us in the gospel about greed and its terrible temptation. And again, the story of the man who didn't inherit anything. He tried to warn him. We've seen this so many times, people getting angry because they don't get an inheritance from family. So they cut their family off and they end up alone and isolated. As Americans, well, and this happens in other countries too, we tend to think of money as being ours and only for us, instead of needing to share it to help other people, because it's through that that we feel good about ourselves. Let me give you an example. If we have some money, we can give it to the poor. And that makes us feel good to know that we're helping them. Or if we have some money, we may go ahead and buy a bunch of groceries and prepare a meal and invite people over to eat with us and have that sense of community. Or if we have a little extra money, we may say, well, maybe I'll use that on my grandchildren and take them for ice cream. And we get such enjoyment out of seeing them enjoy that ice cream. We might even donate flowers for the church on Easter Sunday. So use that money to buy flowers to beautify the church so that when parishioners come in, they feel so happy to see those flowers. And that in turn makes us happy. Sharing is what helps us create the concept of community and helps prepare us for entrance into heaven so that we can enjoy God's kingdom forever. So it's possible that today's gospel really inspires us to think about greed and push it aside and rather share what we have with other people to make them happy and make us happy. God bless you.